What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the TRCBY show. Today I want to do something a little bit different, and I kind of want to share an experience that I had with purchasing pre-built from Newegg. So, as you guys know, there is a huge shortage of GPUs out there, and especially like the 3090 was something that I kind of wanted, not just because I wanted to flex on that I have a 3090, but I thought that was it was worth it for me for doing video editing for YouTube videos, essentially, just because now that I'm doing, like, I guess 2K videos, I thought to myself that, like, hey, you know what, more VRAM the better, right? So that way I could do bigger files, and I did update my output to 2K, as you guys know, for most recently. So yeah, I think it's helpful, and I have not received a VRAM memory outage error in DaVinci, which is always a good thing. And some of my videos are like an hour long. It's like an episode. But if you did watch it, thank you very much for watching it. But this is just a little bit of something that I wanted to share. So my first purchase was the ABS Legend Gaming PC. Came with the Intel i9 10900KF. KF means that it's exactly the same as the other 10900K unlocked version, but the F is that it does not have any, I guess, built-in the 630 like HD graphics in it. So there is no display coming out of the CPU. So it's all based on the GPU that you have. So I kind of want to do a comparison of what I thought was a better purchase in terms of a pre-built. So I think a lot of you guys may say that, hey, why did you buy a pre-built? Why not build your own? I think it's mostly like, yeah, you could most definitely build your own. Pick your own, like you know motherboard, power supplies, your memory, your GPU, your fans, your coolers, and all that good stuff in your case and whatnot. But you're still left with not having a GPU. So that's the GPU shortage that we are in at the moment. So I decided to pick up this pre-built from ABS, and just essentially for an overpriced 3090. But when I did this, before I made my first purchase with ABS, I decided to, alright, let me take a look at all of their built-in, I guess, like parts, and see how much it would cost me if I were to build it myself with their parts through Newegg. And it came out to be like roughly about the same, maybe like $150 or $200 less than the pre-built price. But then at the same time, when I added up all the things in my cart, the taxes as well too kind of gets you. So it was a better deal for me to buy this as is, pre-built, versus individual parts if I wanted to go with their individual parts along with their case. So that's what I ended up with. It was a first time buying a pre-built in, like, I don't know, a very long time. I think way back, like probably many years ago. But anyways, I decided to give ABS a try. They were the only ones that were in stock with a 3090 or actually any other graphics card at the time of. And when I was making the purchase, it was like, oh no, an error, because it was already out of stock. But then I looked back, like maybe 10 minutes later, it was in stock. So it was just weird. So I did make the purchase, like, oh great, sweet. So I got it, and I got it delivered. And you know what? It was okay. It wasn't too bad for what it was. There was a lot of lights, a lot of RGB lights. I think I made another video where I replaced 4 of the RGB lightings with my old Delta from about 10 years ago. And those Deltas are super loud, but they're super amazing. 150, what is it? Like, airflow, like CF, whatever. So, cubic feet per unit or CFU or whatever it is. But anyways, it was a lot better than what I was using to render these videos. I was using a laptop with a 2060 mobile, and that took like forever to render, but it did the job, but it didn't do the job quite as fast. So it was kind of an upgrade for me having a desktop CPU along with a desktop GPU that just made things a lot smoother. And plus I'm also using it more for work as well too. So I've been working remotely for the most part, just working off of my laptop and also doing videos and content creation through the 2060 laptop. But I thought it was time to maybe do a little upgrade, so I did. And this is the first purchase that I got. So let's just I guess just take a look at what it is. And it's like a mystery surprise if you think about what type or what kind of 3090 will I get. It's kind of like rolling the dice. So I ended up getting, for this particular one, was the Gigabyte OC Extreme version of the 3090, and I think that's pretty good so far. I think I made my first what was it, benchmarking video with Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I think it came out alright. I don't know. I don't really play too much of these AAA title games, but I would like to start playing a little bit more of those free to play Steam games, like you guys saw was Path of Exile. So that's something that I wanted to do. So yeah, I picked this up for less than this. So the first time when I bought this one, it was 3718. So it was 3718 after tax, post tax. But then now when I'm looking at Newegg, it's actually like 4K. They bumped it up by like 150 bucks essentially, because I'm guessing just the basic economics of supply and demand. So there is a large supply for a complete like computer that has a GPU. I think you could most definitely buy parts to build your own, but you're going to be missing a GPU probably for quite some time, because everything is pretty much out of stock, and it's just very challenging to get a GPU. So I decided to get this pre-built instead for the GPU along with just the parts. And I guess maybe like after I got this one and after replacing the deltas and whatnot, I decided to just look randomly. It was like a week or two ago later on Newegg, and I came upon this. I was like, oh hey, that's pretty cool, and it's like a little bit cheaper. And it's as you could see, it's currently out of stock at the moment, but these go pretty fast. So my experience with SKYTECH Prism 2 gaming PC, it's exact same thing, but this one has the i9-10900K, meaning it does have that built-in graphics in the CPU. So it's got a little bit of different stats in terms of the RAM and the memories and the motherboard and so forth and whatnot. But essentially, it's more or less the same thing as the ABS. So the ABS had let's see, we had 32 gigs of RAM. The SKYTECH Prism came with 16, and it is the biggest difference, of course, is the 3090 variations. On the SKYTECH Prism 2, I ended up receiving the Zotac Trinity. So I got the 3090 Zotac Trinity. I think both of them are pretty much more or less like the same, I would say. I don't know, but I got this one primarily because I wanted another 3090. But I wanted a 3090 like for the kids to play VR games like Beat Sabers and whatnot. But they don't really need a 3090 for that. But I think I just kind of went overboard just because I wanted to, and it's such a limited supply of like 3090s or GPUs in general that I decided to, like, yeah, let me just get this for them. And yeah, and I did. So I ended up getting this, but I guess the overall experience and the difference between a pre-build and another company with a pre-built. So it's ABS versus SKYTECH. So SKYTECH, I would have to say, was a better receiving. Like, I felt like a valued customer a little bit more with SKYTECH. I mean, although ABS, I did receive the box. It came in as is. Everything worked as it should be right out of the box. I had no issues with it. The minor thing was one of the legs got damaged during shipping. So like right here, like one of the little legs on the back right, that was damaged, and I sent out an email to their customer support. They were able to get back to me, and they sent it to me like as a replacement. They gave me two, which is awesome. So just in case something else broke, but yeah, I was actually able to replace that, and that was free of charge for me, and that was super cool. But the other thing is SKYTECH Prism. I guess the other difference is SKYTECH Prism came in a much flashier box, or the wrapping and everything. It came in like first like a box within a box, which is typical, and then it was also encased in like a satchel of some sort as well too. That I thought that was pretty interesting. And the second thing, or the second and third thing, is it came with a keyboard, and then it also came with a mouse. And that was a big thing for me because I had to go out and just pick up any type of working like a keyboard, and I think I had some spare mouse or a mice in that sense, but I had a few laying around, so that wasn't that big of an issue. But I had to go and pick up another keyboard when I bought the ABS. It does not come with any keyboard or a mouse, so keep that in mind. But the SKYTECH Prism does, and I thought that was super cool. And it came again in its own little bags of goodies. The other thing about the SKYTECH Prism, or the SKYTECH, was they gave me additional power cables. They gave me like additional SATA cables. They gave me extra like 8-pin cables to connect to the power. So they gave me like a lot of extra screws. They gave me extra zip ties if I wanted to do whatever it is that I wanted to do with it. So they gave you more instruction manual as well too, which I thought that was helpful because I had no idea how to take apart the side panel just to remove the interior packaging of it. So that was very helpful. But they just gave you a lot more, I guess, bang for your bucks, minus 16 gigs of RAM. So I did get a keyboard and a mouse, which I thought was super helpful. I got additional power cords and extra SATA cables and such. So definitely super helpful in terms of getting more for essentially about the same price. So I would have to, if I were to choose which one I would purchase, let's just say I did not have any of it, knowing what I know now, the SKYTECH Prism 2 would have been my first and only choice. ABS, not too bad. I do like it, but I think the SKYTECH Prism has a better case. One, I think I like the case better than the SKYTECH Prism, and off the bat, at the time of, it was cheaper. Yes, I do lose out on that 16 gigs of additional RAM, but it's just all for the 3060 at the I'm sorry, the 3090 at the moment. So that's why I went with another one, the SKYTECH Prism. So that way, if I wanted to do editing, I could do editing upstairs in the bedroom instead of staying downstairs in the basement to do video editing, just to change up where I do my videos. But that is why I did it. Like, you don't have to do it. Like, there's really no need to purchase two pre-built of a 3090 at all, unless you want to. I just did it just because I wanted to share with the family, so that way they could play VR games, because we just have a little bit more room upstairs in the bedroom, and my boys are, they're funny when they're playing VR, and I get that enjoyment of just watching them have a good time. So that is why I did it. But again, there is, I guess, for the average person, individual, there's really no need to purchase two of these pre-built unless you want to, or if you have the means to do so. So that is, I guess, more or less my experience. So again, SKYTECH, I believe was the better value. The presentation was better, the packaging, and the whole unboxing it felt a little bit more gratifying than ABS. So if we were going to do a ABS versus SKYTECH, which one should you buy? I would lean towards the SKYTECH Prism 2 if it's available on Newegg, but I believe both of these are out of stock, and this one bumped up to $200, like essentially 4K now for a non-graphics card or graphics CPU built into it, but you do get a little bit more RAM. This one, of course, you do get the graphics card and I guess the built-in graphics card in the CPU, which could potentially help you troubleshoot any dead GPUs that you may have received. But both of them, unfortunately, worked right out of the box. I just had to unplug the power cord from here, remove the foam filling, and plug it back in, and all was well. So, yeah, again, I like the look of this. I'm not a big fan of the heatsink or the fins being right on the side because I sit like right here. The desk is right here, and hot air would just be blowing on me, and I'm not a fan of that too much. But again, that's maybe if I decide to move the computer to the right side of me, it wouldn't be an issue. But right now, just where I place the computer, it's kind of blowing on me. Maybe that's good for winter time, but not so much when the weather is warming up at the moment. For this, I think the air, like the case doesn't move much air. So I had to pop the top a little bit right here, just cracked it, so that way it'll get a little bit more air flowing into it. So like the first fan on top, I replaced that with the Delta, which is much stronger. So I will, you know, send it off to, what is it, full throttle in the fan control speed. So I don't know, so it works a little bit better. And again, I replaced both of the top all-in-one fan radiators over here, the fins, with the Delta as well too. So that worked out a little bit better. So I guess in another note, I do like the motherboard of the SKYTECH a little bit better. Why? It's because it was a lot easier to get to the SATA connectors. So the SATA connectors was super easy to get to for this one because it's right, I believe, like right here underneath the wires, and it's just a lot easier to get to. For here, it's the SATA cables is literally like right underneath the GPU, and you have to take off the back plate and maybe like take off the GPU and then put it back in. But it's just much more challenging to get it right off the bat. But yeah, that's it. So this actually looks a little bit different than the actual MOBO that I received from ABS, because I'm seeing some like right here. So yeah, it's a little bit different motherboard, but anyways, the one that I got was right underneath it, underneath the GPU. So again, I personally like the presentation of the SKYTECH packaging, the fact that they gave you keyboard and mouse. It's a gaming keyboard and mouse, and it's super helpful. If you don't have one, all you need is just a monitor, and you're kind of set. You're good to go, and all you need is just a keyboard and a mouse for that. So again, the SKYTECH I liked a little bit more, maybe like a lot more, maybe like 50% more than the ABS experience of the unboxing and what I actually received out of it. So that was, I guess that was it. Something a little bit different than just the gaming, but it's actually like I'm using this ABS right here as my workstation just because I got it first. And the second thing about this, or another thing about this, is I removed this side panel glass and I kind of just laid it up against, because this computer is like close to the wall on a ledge, so I put the glass near it, so it's kind of leaning against the wall, but semi covers the case, but it's open, so it's slightly cracked on top and a completely removed side panel over here as well too, just to get more of the airflow going in here. But again, I think the SKYTECH has a little bit better design for the airflow. I'm not quite sure. I haven't done like a fog test on it or anything like that, or a smoke test, just to see how it moves. But I do know for sure that you get tremendous amount of good times, as in the core temps will significantly go down, or even your GPU will significantly go down just by removing this side panel. And I think I showed that on one of my mining videos. But that is more or less about it. So that is my current setup. So again, just my personal experience by purchasing ABS Legend versus the SKYTECH Prism 2. I prefer the SKYTECH Prism 2. Like the overall experience was a little bit better, so I did like that, the unboxing experience. But that's about it. So I hope everybody is doing well, staying safe and healthy, and peace.